thing I think is deeply underappreciated about Scooby-Doo, the original 2 seasons, is the dialogue writing. This show is legitimately, sincerely, intentionally funny to me, even as an adult. Funnier to me as an adult even than it was to me as a child.
Not the old ride on the conveyor belt into the wax routine. Oh, no. Like that went out with the silent movies, Animal Pal.
A lot of the scenario writing and the situational comedy, as well as a lot of the chase sequences, are very inspired, in my opinion. I'm particularly fond of the chase sequence song from Jeepers, It's the Creeper. Excellent choice. Personal favorite antagonist is the hypnosis circus clown that feels very derivative of the Joker. And my personal favorite, and possibly the magnum opus of the first 2 seasons, is the episode Go Away Ghost Ship. There's a ship with fully in-character crew with custom fog that follows them everywhere they go. Fully in-character D&D pirate style band of goons. And the Mystery Incorporated gang investigates the boat on behalf of a rich shipping magnate named Magnus. Their small motorboat gets rammed after their motor literally just leaves, and they have to board the ghost ship to avoid drowning, and they get separated. Scooby and Shaggy get chased by a flying sword, make soup for the ghost.
Cobwebs?
Cobwebs! Delightful! Why didn't I think of that?
Shaggy reveals he can flawlessly imitate voices in tandem with his previously established skill with ventriloquism.
They went that away!
They thought I was Redbeard!
And then they accidentally walk themselves off the plank. Fred, Daphne, and Velma are locked in a room with a bucket of dry ice during all of this. Shaggy and Scooby paddle a bucket at what looks like 30 miles per hour plus speeds. The others are chained up in a cave when the boat docks, but thankfully the ghost leaves the key in the room. Shaggy's pirate hat turns out to be important shipping paperwork. They follow some tire tracks. Great, now we know the ghost drives a truck. A robot skull asks them for a password and Shaggy gets it first try.
And a liverwurst a la mode! Wow! What a password!
They get attacked by the pirate D&D crew and then the sword shows up again. Shaggy duels the sword while Scooby makes a sandwich. They then accidentally drink oil.
I should have known! Oil!
Guerrilla warfare then takes place with the rest of the gang against the remaining pirate goons, and then Shaggy pulls an egg beater as a gun on the captain before making a strategic retreat.
Let's ride! He'll never catch us on this automatic pogo stick! We did it, Scooby!
Scooby then eats fog after touching dry ice with his bare paws. The end. Also, the ghost turns out to just be the shipping magnate and the other guys are just hired goons, even though one of them very clearly looks like Magnus's butler. This episode's pacing, structure, dialogue, and premise speak to me. The fact that the hired goons had to be in character like a Gotham gang, the way every clue found is a complete accident and then they solve the case by winning a fist fight. The concept of an automatic pogo stick even plausibly existing. It's exquisite. So much happens, but it never feels rushed, very intuitive pacing, maybe the single funniest episode of Scooby-Doo. Another favorite is the season 2 opener, Nowhere to Hide, where a guy who claims to be the ghost of Mr. Hyde is a jewel thief and hides in the back of the mystery machine on his escape from his latest heist.
This creepy shortcut you're taking, Freddy, gives me the chills.
That's because the heater's broken.
And just stays there when they start driving. He is revealed and then makes a break for it, and they give chase to this old house in the middle of like a marsh or something, and they just walk right up because hey, the back door's unlocked.
Hey, the back door's unlocked. This is gonna be easier than we thought.
They then meet a guy who says he's the great-great-grandson of Dr. Jekyll, like for real, and he's making the ultimate vitamin supplement and accidentally poisoned himself.
And the room began to spin. Hours later, I was awakened by my housekeeper, Helga.
Helga, the housekeeper, completely goated. She was a trapeze star, and you know how I love trapeze stars. They have their little chase scene.
A perfect three-point landing.
Shaggy gets raptured and Scooby is distraught.
Did I find something interesting in the fruit bowl? Yeah!
This is one of the few episodes where the gang has a clear suspect and discuss it with each other, being Helga, and they're completely wrong. The evidence that ends up being really important that gets Shaggy raptured is that he found suction cups, because that would have been the equipment used to scale the building to commit the jewel heist, but it's incriminating because obviously Helga wouldn't have needed them to scale a building straight up because she's an ex-trapeze star. Anyway, our culprit ends up being Mr. Dr. Jekyll, and he tries to frame his housekeeper, right? And the vitamin bit Jekyll talks about in the beginning turns out to be a lie, meaning he had a mad scientist alchemy lab for some other unknown reason. Plus, the commitment to the bit to strap Shaggy down to the gurney and pretend he's going to turn him into a frog, when this guy's main line of work is robbing jewelry stores.
What are you gonna do with me? You're gonna turn me into a frog? Oh, Scooby-Doo!
The fact that Helga's career changed from urban trapeze superstar live-in housekeeper for the abandoned bog house is never fully explained. How does she even know Jekyll? Between these two episodes, but also the series as a whole, I am in many ways enthralled by the rampant lawlessness and complete lack of strategy involved in the Scooby Gang's approach to mystery solving. They never figure anything out, ever. They just run for their life and then set elaborate traps for these monsters of the week. But they never ever actually figure anything out. And the other three routinely just absolutely refuse to believe Shaggy and Scooby when they encounter somebody dressed up as a ghoul for, like, no reason. Like, Shaggy and Scooby are constantly encountering people dressed up as ghouls, like, for real. And every single time they're like, gang, we just saw, like, a ghost. We just saw a ghoul. The other three are like, I think you're stupid and lying. And they don't believe them. No matter how many times it happens, they were like, we don't believe you. Show it to us. It is so funny. It's so funny. There's so many episodes like that, like the werewolf episode, where, like, they're just, first of all, they spend the first half of the episode completely oblivious to the werewolf's presence. Don't even know he's there. Then once they find him, they're just running for their life, and then they shave him bald, and then they run for their life again. They don't solve anything. They never figure anything out. The clues never, oh, we found a clue. The clue never means anything. Don't let her fool you. Don't let her fool you. The clue never means anything. They never solve anything. They run and they chase, predator and prey. They trap people, attack people, torment people, shave people bald, but they never actually correctly deduce identities, at least in the beginning. As the Scooby Gang existed in pop culture, they slowly began to be a bit better at their job. But so many of these episodes involve just complete tomfoolery, which is to be expected, right? But, like, the one time they have, like, a serious, like, I think I know who did it, it's like, they're wrong. It's not Helga. Helga would never. Just absolutely fascinating brute force approach to mystery solving, where they never try and figure out what's going on. They just jump the guy and then figure it out later. Like, it's like no notes. Like, that's perfect. And it is very interesting for all my Nancy Drew fans to look at the way that some of the structure of the Nancy Drew PC games are in fact derivative of the structure of the original 1969 Scooby-Doo show. And that there's a lot of just hijinks and tangents wherein you see Nancy or the Scooby Gang just go off and, like, do something completely random, like make ghost soup that doesn't actually really meaningfully forward the investigation in any way, but it is funny and entertaining. And then eventually by the end of it, you just, like, capture the person in the act, and none of the, like, detective work that preceded it mattered whatsoever. It's the same formula, and it's fascinating to me to have this model of mystery story in which no solving happens, or sometimes solving happens, but, like, majority of the time it's shenanigans and then chase the bad guy and catch him.